Hi, Matt from footballboots.co.uk, and today we'll be doing a quick video comparison on the entire X collection by Adidas Football to help your decisions when opting for which boot is best for you. We have the standard X15.1, the X15.1 Leather and the X15 Plus Primeknit. Let me start by saying that I've worn all of the boots myself and I'm a big fan of the collection. It's a pair of boots that I wear for training and matches and I'll switch them up. Adidas have given each silo a different theme. So we have the Synthetic X, which is a lightweight focus, players such as Gareth Bale, Karim, Benzema and Angel Di Maria wear. We have the Traditionalist focus, the X Leather, players such as Thomas Müller and Iron Robin lace up in the boot. And we also have the Fit focus, so that really snug fit, responsive fit, players such as Suarez, David Silva, Juan Mata and Diego Costa lace up in. Design wise, all the boots feature the same template. So we have the X cage on the side, X cage on the lateral side panel and also the X cage on the medial side panel. That's the same for all three boots. It's not the stripe design that we're used to, that you see on the Ace boot, so you would have the three stripes for Adidas, but here we have the cage. It's nice in my opinion. It also has the old school Adidas heel logo. It holds a bit of reminiscence to the old Adidas Predator Accelerator, so that was a boot of my era and it's nice to see a bit of remnants there. The boots also feature different tongues. So on the standard X15.1, it's a purely synthetic tongue running across the whole lacing system there. Bring in the leather edition and it's got a half synthetic at the bottom half and then a half leather. As I bring that in, hopefully you can see the difference. We've got a half synthetic and then a half leather running to the top. And then finally, we have the Primeknit, and that's a compression tongue. And we'll go into that further a little bit later on, but it's a very stretchy material and it actually incorporates into the lacing system itself. So let's move on to the construction of the boots. And the standard X15.1 features an X-skin synthetic running across the entire boot, and also the Tech Fit collar, which is a neoprene material. The leather edition features a very soft K leather, and in hand and on feet is very comfortable. It breaks off across the toe box, so from here onwards it's a synthetic, and on this side here it's a synthetic too. And the Primeknit of course features that knitted material, super plush in hand, very comfortable, very snug fit in the width, but it does give a little bit more room in the toe, but we'll go into that a little bit later too. It also features the Lycra yarns tongue. So in terms of the uppers themselves, if you want to go for the softest upper, that's the leather version. Okay, so as a push down here, very, very soft. It's quite thick, but it does give a really nice feel. Very easy to push down, not much effort at all, very, very soft. Next up would be the Primeknit. It's not as soft as the leather, but it is still definitely soft and softer than the synthetic. It's thicker than the synthetic upper, but that is because of the knitted material. But again, it's still very soft and provide a comfortable fit. And then lastly, we have the synthetic version, and it's very thin. It is soft. It isn't the softest of the three here, but it is still definitely soft. And it does challenge Nike's Vapor. And again, it is the soft material, so another high quality product. In terms of the boot which is going to give you the most performance, the synthetic comes out on top. It's the thinnest material, so in terms of getting impact with the ball and your foot, this is going to give you the best option. It features the NSG running across the entire boot and also on the tongue. But when the foot goes into the boot and comes into contact with the ball, there won't be much material at all, so you get a very, very increased feel. So as I push in, you can just see how thin that is. That's going to create a very, very thin contact with the ball, so you'll feel every touch and every turn and every strike that you hit with the ball. Next up is the leather. It features that nice traditional leather, it's K leather on the toe box, and then synthetic across the side. So this will really enhance the natural, traditional touch and feel on the ball, which is why players such as Bastian Schweinsteiger do lace up in it. And here we have the Primeknit. It's kind of a cross between both designs really. It feels like a leather boot, very, very comfortable, but it also is thin and lightweight like the synthetic. So it's kind of a cross between design, but again, performance enhancing, very good. And again, it features the NSG running across the entire upper, side panels, and also on the heel counter. And again, it features on the lacing system. So the laces run through the compression tongue, and the NSG is just on top here, which enhances touch in all conditions. So it's Adidas's version of Nike's ACC. In my opinion, I'm not sure if it's something that does really, really work or enhance performance, but it's just a nice addition to have. In terms of which boot offers what, bring in the synthetic, and it is very lightweight. It's very thin, very lightweight. So if you are a winger, just like the players I named before, like Gareth Bale and Angel Di Maria, this could be a very good option for you as it is so lightweight and very thin. However, the protection is dampened because of that. We have the neoprene here. If any studs come in contact with the player, that may hurt. Also, the tongue itself is very thin, and the upper, of course, is that same material. So any heavy impact coming in will definitely be felt. So if you wanted something a bit more offering of protection, the leather will definitely do that for you. It's a soft leather, but it is quite thick as well, which is nice. So it will give you a cushion touch, but also it will cushion impact from stud and tackles coming in. The leather does stop though, it's just across the toe box. Okay, so across the side panels, that's a synthetic, it's quite thin. And also the tongue itself, although it is leather, it's a very thin leather on the tongue. So any tackles coming in to the toe box, it will be dampened slightly, but the side panels, synthetic, so it might not provide the best protection, but it is still a fairly good offer. The Primeknit version, again, it's the cross between. It's kind of that perfect example of comfort. It provides touch and feel on the ball. It's still lightweight. It's actually the same weight as the synthetic, but we'll come onto that later. And also the protection's there, just because it is a little bit thicker than the synthetic as well. Not as thicker as the leather, so in terms of the best protection, that's the leather. But if you want a cross between the comfort plus the touch and feel and lightweight and protection, this would be the boot to go for. Otherwise, lightweight but lacking protection, or high protection and then not as much performance enhancing qualities as the Primeknit and synthetic versions. Technology wise, every boot features the X cage on either side panels, and it does a really good job of just securing the foot in place when it's all laced up. As you can see, it integrates into the lacing system as you pull those laces tight. It really does create a nice snug fit on the foot, and they're on each of the boots. However, the Primeknit actually features the compression tongue as well. Hopefully we can see that on camera. So that wraps around the foot inside. Okay, so it actually goes all the way down towards the end of the lacing system. So as you pull those laces tight, it does enhance that snug fit, and it is very, very compressive. So players with wide feet might want to stay away from the Primeknit especially, but the X in general. The leather is probably the best option for a wide-footed player that does want the X boot. It just gives a little bit more flexibility and width in the forefoot, midfoot regions. As I said previously, the synthetic features the NSG technology, so it's a small dimple effect. Hopefully if I bring this up close, we can just see the dimples there. We'll put some close-in pictures too. But that features across the entire boot, even the heel counter, which is a nice touch, and also on the lacing system. And that is matched by the Primeknit version, NSG across the whole upper, side panels, heel cut, and on the lacing system, just to enhance that touch on the ball. However, the leather version doesn't feature that. So it's just a smooth texture run across the whole boot. That's the leather toe box. That's smooth, no dimpling effect for the NSG. And also on the side panels, it does have a texture to it, but that's just the print. So that's just been embossed on. It's almost like a very small checkered design, but no NSG. So there won't be any kind of touch enhancing qualities there. So we flip the boots over, so we're looking at the sole plate and stud configuration. And as we can see, each boot features Adidas's X-Claw system. It's a really nice touch because it just allows players to play on both artificial surfaces, so 3Gs, and also natural firm ground surfaces. It's a sole play that I'm a fan of. It's quite aggressive. You get really good response and traction from these X-Claw studs. As I bring it in close, we're going to see it's almost triangular in shape, very aggressive. We've got these middle miniature studs here, miniature firm ground studs, and at the front as well, and they do a really great job of just as you turn in and pushing off, you get a very responsive acceleration and rapid changes of direction, which is great for the player. So of course, a very important factor to any decision when buying boots is of course the weight. In terms of how much weight difference there is, there's not a lot. So the synthetic and the Primeknit tip in at 213 grams, so they actually match in weight. The leather comes in just ahead at 230 grams, so there's only a 17 gram difference. Both the boots in hand, they feel the same weight. These two here are the same size, and in hand they do feel the same weight, and I've tried them both on, I've worn them both, and you can't actually tell a difference. That's just my opinion. But if you are someone who's looking to get the lightest boot, the synthetic, of course, and also the Primeknit, they're the lightest. Maybe the Primeknit's the best option because it does have that cross between. So it's got the lightweight nature of a synthetic, but it does feel, both in hand and on foot, as that classic leather. And that runs across the whole boot. Whereas on the leather version, it's just on the toe box. So that's something to look out for. I'm a huge fan of the X Primeknit. It's a boot that I'm wearing at the moment, and it's something I'm very happy with. And at the moment, I'm not thinking about changing, playing really well in these, and it's a top product in my opinion. Now, because the X comes with the X-Claw stud system, it does mean that you're allowed to use them on 3G and artificial surfaces. Now, something that comes with playing on 3Gs is the durability of the boots. Okay, so there hasn't been any major problems with the boot so far that we've been testing, no kind of signs of sole separation. But something to look out for on the synthetic is it has a little bit of stitching just in here that attaches the neoprene collar to the tongue. And that's only just a couple of stitches, okay, so that might wear, but all in all, these should last you up to a season. I'm not sure how they go after a whole season of training and matches, but they should last you this season in my opinion. Next up, we have the leather, and these should last you easily a season, hopefully more. Just make sure you take care of the leather, just give a bit of dubbing after each use. But these should last you a full season at least. And that goes for the Primeknit as well. This is one of the most high-end products on the market at the moment. No signs of any sole separation. It's integrated into the upper, really high quality. The craftsmanship at Adidas is top. There's no kind of glue marks coming up here. Very top work. And also, because it's actually integrated into the lacing system, it's not attached like the synthetic version. It just runs across. So in terms of any problems with the collar, none here on the Primeknit. So in terms of how the X's actually fit, the synthetic, it's a medium width, quite narrow. Okay, so it's a medium to narrow fit. So players with wide feet might want to stay away from this boot for sure. A wide footed player that does want a boot could give the X Leather a try. That's a medium width. As you can see here, it's not as narrow as the synthetic. So it does give a little bit more forgiveness for the wide-footed player. However, the X Primeknit is definitely narrow. Okay, so it's a narrow fit, and that's because of the compression tongue inside that wraps around the foot. When you slip your foot on, you notice it straight away, and also after some playing time. So once you've been playing the boots for 10 or 15 minutes, and your foot swells slightly, it wraps it and it keeps it very snug. So wide-footed players should definitely stay away from this boot. And as I said, you could give the leather option a go just for a bit more forgiveness in there for you. So talking about the width brings us on to the length of the boot. I've tried on all these boots in my size 10.5, that's a UK 10.5. Synthetic, very true to size. I'm a player that fits the X quite well, so I don't have overly wide feet or narrow feet, just quite normal. 10.5 fit me very true to size, perfect fit. That went for the leather edition as well. Perfect fit in my UK 10.5. My toes are right at the end, not too tight, and there wasn't too much space either for me. I'm a player that likes quite a snug fit, and both of these boots here, the synthetic and the leather, did that for me. So they were very true to size. An interesting one is the Primeknit. Okay, so although the compression tongue really wraps around the foot, to create a very, very narrow, snug fitting midfoot. The toe box itself actually fits about half a size long. Okay, so I went for a UK 10.5 in this, but I could have gone down to a UK 10. Okay, so when I put my foot in, my toes would maybe come to about there. So I just had a little bit, maybe half an inch of space. So although it is very narrow in the midfoot, it is just a little bit longer. I think I've seen some companies saying that you should go half a size up in the Primeknit because it is a tight fit, but that's only tight in the midfoot. Okay, so in my opinion, what I'd do, I would go for maybe half a size down if you want a very snug fit like me. So although I'm a UK 10.5, I'd go UK 10 in the Primeknit. But if you do want a little bit of space, go true to size. So guys, that brings us to the end of our comparison video of the collection of X boots by Adidas. I hope it's helped you in your decision making to choose what boot is best for you, what suits you the best. Just to summarise, if you're a winger that wants that modernistic feel, then the synthetic is probably the best option for you. Super thin, lightweight, it's got the neoprene collar as well, just to hug the foot a little bit more. If you're more of the traditionalist, then the leather is a very good option for you. Super soft K-leather upper on the toe box, quality touch on the ball, very nice feel when playing passes and striking the ball. Or if you want that cross between of a lightweight synthetic version, also having a natural leather feel and touch, then the X Primeknit is probably the best option for you. And also, in my opinion, it's one of the best options on the whole boot market so far. It will be in my top 3 of the boot releases of 2015 so far. Massively high quality product. It obviously has that knitted material running across the whole of the boot. Massive fan of it. So if you want that cross between of both boots, then the Primeknit is definitely the option to go for. And as I said guys, hopefully this has been helpful to you. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the description below. We'd love to hear what you think, your opinions. And as always, if you could just give us a like, and also if you haven't subscribed already, I know most of you have, which is very nice, thank you. Then subscribe to us, we've got some great stuff coming. We'll do another comparison video, we'll do the Ace. And we'll do a comparison of some Nike boots as well. It just gives you players out there just a little bit of behind the scenes information about each boot, just to help you decide which boot is best for you. Thanks guys, cheers.